What's going on, everyone? Coming at you with some more One Piece gameplay. Today's matchup is Queen against Yamato, and Yamato is a deck that I think is extremely strong in the right conditions. I think it does better into an aggro meta, but against a control meta, which I feel like we're currently in, with decks like Doflamingo and Katakuri being so strong, I think it doesn't do quite nearly as well as a blanket statement. I think it does have good matchups into decks like Whitebeard or decks like Zoro where it can kind of stall out and force them to run out of gas. But in the current meta that we're in, where there's so much variability and a lot of decks that want to play a control style, I just think it doesn't have the tools that it needs to take those games consistently. On the other side, Queen is a deck that I have a lot of fun playing, mostly because it's kind of degenerate. But we are going to force our opponent to go first here, and Queen loves to go second because it kind of makes sure that you always have enough Dawn to make your plays, as well as have one Dawn extra for a Perona or a blocker or using your own effect. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to swing 6 at leader here, and we like when our opponent does trigger things out of their life because we usually have answers to it. And so we're going to go ahead and pay for a Boa to come out here. And yellow, again, doesn't have a ton of removal, and they don't want to commit those removals early game. So they're going to swing here, and we're going to counter out of both of them. And they're going to drop Parasparrow, which we are pretty okay with. Again, we're in a spot where we can make some plays. We're going to swing at Cracker here. We're going to counter out of it, and then we're going to pay for a red rock to bottom deck the Parasparrow. And I know it's a hefty price to bottom deck the Parasparrow, but I don't want them getting any more card advantage off of it. And I am sitting on another red rock, and the problem is that those cards are going to gum up my hand going into the late game, and I won't be able to use them. So our opponent's going to swing here with Cracker, which we're going to trigger out a Sanji here, and then we're going to block the Yamato swing, and they're going to play a Charlotte Amande out, which basically tells me that they want to rest my Boa. Thankfully, we did trigger that Sanji from life, so we are feeling pretty good. We're going to go ahead and swing 6 here at the Cracker, followed by another 5 here from the Sanji. Get 2 cards out of hand, and then we're going to pay 7 for a Sogeking, bouncing it back to hand and then drawing 2 cards and trashing 2 cards. We trash a Boa, and we trash a Capone here. It feels weird to trash 2Ks from your hand, but I really need all the cards in my hand there because I need to be able to activate my leader effect. We're going to see a Charlotte Pudding come down here, and they're looking to grab a 7-cost Big Mom, which they do grab. And so we know that a 7-cost is going to come down this turn, so we're likely just going to take... we're going to counter out of the swing at our Sanji, but then a Katakuri comes down, which is fine with us. We don't mind Katakuri coming down because we do have other options now. And not clearing our Sanji is really huge for us because now we have a fairly good board at this point, and we know that our opponent use their Katakuri, so we're going to go ahead and pay I think 6 here for the red rock. I think red rock's a very good answer here, but we're going to swing with the Katakuri first just to see what happens. Our opponent's going to get a Sanji and they're going to trigger it, and that kind of changes our turn a little bit. We're going to go ahead and play Mihawk to bottom deck the Sanji, so that's basically 2 cards for 1, and then we're going to swing leader at their life, and they're going to take that, and we're going to gain 1 because we only had 2 cards in hand at that point and 2 cards in life. So our opponent's going to play a 7-cost, and we're going to let them recover 1 because we're in a fairly good position, and it's going to be very hard for them to deal with our bodies. We're going to see an 8K swing at our Boa, which we're going to happily counter out of, and then they're going to play a Pudding here to look at the top 4. They're going to grab, I think it was a Katakuri as well they just grabbed there, which it was, yep, and then they're going to swing here, at leader here, and we're going to take it, and then they're going to swing leader again, which will counter out of no problem. Again, staying at that magic number. And so we are at 10 Dawn. We're going to swing 10 at the Katakuri here, and then we're going to swing at the Amande with our Sogeking. We're going to pay 8 to put the Big Mom into their life, and then we're going to swing again and recover again because we only have 2 cards in hand. They get a Sanji out, but that's pretty okay because again, we're taking a life, they're discarding a card, so you'll see here they have like 2 or 3 cards in hand, so they're kind of matching us in hand size, but board state wise, our board is so much more impressive. So we're feeling really good here. They're going to swing 6 at the life here, which we'll take happily. They're going to swing 6 again, which will counter out, and then they're going to play Katakuri, put the Pudding back in their life, which again, we don't really care about. We're going to swing at their life. They're going to take it. But when we know that there's no triggers in life, it lets us swing pretty freely with our Big Mom effect without being punished, right? So we're going to swing 6 here at life here. They're going to take the Pudding. We're going to swing 5 here at life as well, which they take. We'll swing 8 here at life again, which they will trigger a Parasparrow. That's okay. We'll swing 9 again here. And then this is a pretty devastating play where we 3,000 Worlds the Pero and then Red Rock the Katakuri. Say goodbye to your board. You have a Pudding. We have 1 card in hand, but we do have a blocker up. And we are feeling pretty good here. They're going to play their Pudding, and they can't grab a Big Mom. It's too late in the game for that. So they're going to have to grab either a 2K counter or a blocker. And I think they opt to grab a blocker here. They grab the Charlotte Brule. It's just a position that they're in. It's pretty hard to overcome. They've got like no cards in hand, and they've kind of gotten sucked into the late game. They end up grabbing a Strusen, but they do have a Brule in hand already, so they're going to swing 5 with their Pudding, which we'll take happily. They're going to swing 5 again, but they just play that Pudding, so they cannot. So they're going to swing 5 with their leader, and I will take that as well. I'm thinking about triggering it, but I don't because I want to keep cards in my hand at this point. And then I grab a Yamato off the top. So we're feeling all right here. We're feeling fairly decent. I'm in a spot where, again, I could go for game here, but they're going to have 2 blockers. And again, I have, 5 swings here, but with 2 blockers and 2 life, it is fairly hard to deal with that. So we're going to swing here, 6 at leader. They're going to take it, and then we're going to, play a Yamato to pop the Pudding, and we're going to recover another life here. And then we're swing Soaking at the Pudding, again, to clear another body, and Katakuri at life here. They block that one, then we go Mihawk at life, and they take that one. And at this point, there's really no way for them to come back in the game. They have 3 swings potentially, but it's just too late. And that reveal there looks like they see 2 Katakuris, and they're just going to scoop the game because there's no way they can come back at this point, and Queen's going to take it. Feeling really good about that game for Queen, putting on a ton of pressure and just removing all their threats. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, Monty out.